Greetings, everybody. Brother Dan Goodwin here, the God's Final Jubilee program. Glad to have you with us today. This is just going to be a brief show today. I just want to share what's coming up in the near future here. You may be joining us via Facebook, or you may be seeing this on YouTube, or you may be watching on our brand new podcast channel. If that's true, we ask you to go ahead and subscribe to those. The podcast is brand new, and also take a look at our brand new website. Very excited about that. Everything is much clearer now. You go to the website, everything is there. You can click on the YouTube channel from the website, godsfinaljubilee.com, by the way. And the podcast, brand new. The podcast is basically a YouTube, but it's in audio only. So many times the YouTube and the podcast will be the same, just one has video and one doesn't. Other times the podcast will be something that's not on YouTube, or vice versa. So be sure and connect to both of them. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as the podcast. I think it'll be a blessing to you. And tell your friends about it. Share these on Facebook and other places, and have your friends and family members go and check it out. And let me know what you think about the website once we get it up there. By the time you watch this, we're hoping that it's going to be live and running. So, all right, something coming up in the next few days here. I am leaving here Thursday morning. My wife and I are headed to a place called Hebron, Kentucky. Basically, we're going to the Marriott Hotel, the Cincinnati Airport, but it's on the Kentucky side. So if you type in the Marriott, Cincinnati Airport Marriott, that's where I'll be. We're doing a prophecy conference there. It's called A Flood is Coming. And I've been showing you this on Facebook. If you're on the Facebook page, God's Final Jubilee Facebook, you have already seen this. A flood is coming. And we'd like to invite you to come to this. This is a prophecy conference. It goes from Thursday through Saturday. Thursday it begins at 4 p.m. and registration begins at noontime. You can register anytime after 12, or you can register online. And by the way, the website is www.afloodiscoming.org. www.afloodiscoming.org. All righty. And we've got 3 speakers. I'll be speaking every day. We also have Brother Gary Carr. Some of you may remember him. He's written a couple of books. He's does a lot of stuff on the One World Order and some things about Israel. He's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to meeting him, and hopefully bringing my equipment and doing some video with him as well. So he'll be speaking every day. I'll be speaking every day. And Pastor Mike Chory, who many of you don't know yet, will be speaking. He's the host pastor that's hosting the conference. Wonderful pastor that I've gotten to know, and looking forward to meeting him in person for the first time. But we've spoken for hours over the phone, and we're going to have a wonderful time. Here's how it's going to go. It starts at 4 o'clock on Thursday, the 20th of July. And I believe Pastor Chory is going to bring the first opening message. Then we're going to have dinner. And if you register for this thing and you pay the registration fee, you'll get 4 meals with us in the conference room. And the price that you pay for registration will basically covers the meals. And so if you want to walk in off the street, you can do that. But I would encourage you to go ahead and register and pay the fee and spend the 3 days with us and eat with us and fellowship and talk and have a good time. Starts at 4 o'clock, then we'll have dinner. And then at 7:30, I'll bring the Thursday evening message. I'll be speaking on the final Jubilee, God's final Jubilee. And I will be running PowerPoint. And it'll be a wonderful experience for you to see what the Jubilee is all about and what's going on with that. Then the next morning, every morning, there's a 7:30 devotion time. And then the thing will actually begin. Let's see, I got the schedule right here. 7:30 morning manna on Friday. 8:30 in the morning, conference breakfast buffet. Every registered delegate gets the free breakfast, free meals there, and it's going to be good. So the conference breakfast buffet at 8:30 in the morning. By the way, if you can't make it Thursday, come Friday, and you'd miss just 2 messages on Thursday. But if you can't get there Thursday, come Friday. Spend the whole day Friday with us. Morning man at 7:30, breakfast at 8 to 8:30. 10 o'clock session number 3 begins, where that'll be my second message, and I'll be speaking about the barley harvest and why the real reason no man can know the day or the hour. All right, that's 10 o'clock in the morning. 12 o'clock, guess where we're going? Everybody that wants to go, we're going to Noah's Ark, just 30 minutes away. We're going to get in our cars, and we're going to eat lunch on the way or get lunch somewhere, whatever you want to do. And we're going to have all afternoon to go and see the Ark, the brand new facility there. The Creation Museum, Ken Ham has built the Noah's Ark. If you haven't been to it, it's a wonderful experience. And you say, how do you know? I don't. I've never been there. This will be my first time, but I have heard very good reports about it. So that's another reason to come to this conference. We're going to have all afternoon on Friday to go to Noah's Ark and see what that's all about. Very exciting. Then we're going to come back. And at 4 p.m., there'll be some optional seminars. If you want to come back early, you don't have to. We're going to sign up. We're going to have a sign-up sheet for anybody that wants to come back early from the Ark and get there at 4 o'clock. We're going to have I think a 1-hour seminar. I don't know who's going to be doing that. That'll depend on whether anybody signs up to come back or not. But then at 6 o'clock, it all starts. Or at 6 o'clock, we have our evening dinner that's provided right there in the hall there at the hotel. And at 7:30, we'll have our next session. Then Friday night, and I believe Gary Carr is doing that, but don't hold me that for sure. Then at 9:30 p.m., we're having a roundtable session. I believe what that is myself, Gary Carr, maybe Pastor Chory will be there. And we're going to have a question and answer of some sort. So that'll be real interesting. I don't know how long that'll last. I guess as long as people want to stay and ask questions. So that's Friday. And then Saturday morning manna devotion time. 8:30, we'll have our conference breakfast. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have, I'll have my final third session where I'm going to be speaking about when time shall be no more. That's my third presentation. There will be a PowerPoint presentation. And I'll be dealing with the calendars, the difference in the Jewish calendar and our calendar. I'll explain to you when a day begins in Israel. We're going to talk about the clock, the Old Testament clock, the New Testament clock. What clock are we in now? What happens when the rapture happens? What happens to the clock? I promise you, you're going to learn something very interesting there. All right, so that's the conference. It's called A Flood is Coming, and I hope that you'll come to that. It's just minutes from the Cincinnati airport, which is on the Kentucky side, by the way, on the Kentucky side of the Ohio River. Hebron, Kentucky, that's where this is. If you've got any questions, email me or contact me. I'd be glad to help you out. I don't dare tell you what the conference cost is. I believe it might be $99 or $119. I don't know. It just depends on what date you signed up. But you can reserve your spot at the conference, and I'd love to see you there. We've got many people so far coming, but there's still room for more. And if you just want to come for one day, you can. And if you're not interested in the meals that are being provided for us, you can just come, and there's no charge at all. Of course, we'd want you to register, but there'd be no charge if you're not going to eat the meals. But I'd highly encourage you to go ahead and come and do it all. It's going to be a great time. All right, so we got a brand new website. I want you to take a look at that. It may or may not be up yet. We got a podcast. I want you to sign up for that. We've got a YouTube channel that you may be watching right now. Be sure that you subscribe. And please do us all a favor. Share this with your friends. Share these, the YouTube and the podcast. Share it with other people so that they can find us. There's a lot of people who would love to watch our programs, but they don't know that we're here. All right, so this is just a little update here about what's going on with the conference next week. And There's a lot I'll be sharing with you in the near future about what's going on in the prophecy world. And a lot of you are asking me about the eclipse coming on August the 21st. Very interesting stuff. What does it mean? I don't know, but very interesting. And then, of course, the Revelation 12 thing everybody's talking about in September, which is, by the way, a day or two after the Feast of Trumpets. And I'll share some thoughts on that in the near future. And but a lot of things happening around the world: Russia, Iran, and America, and Israel. A lot of things going on around the world, and I believe we're getting close to the end of this thing. So, all right, got a conference coming up in North Carolina. I'll tell you about that as well. I don't have a date yet. It's either going to be the end of September or the beginning of November, and I will get with you on that. I don't even have the name of the town yet. I don't have the date. I just know it's going to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere around that October area. So I'll give you a heads up about that if you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. You're not going to be too far. I do know it's a couple hours from Johnson City, Tennessee, if that helps you. These are some preachers that I met in Israel when we was on our trip, and we're gonna schedule some things down there. So that's coming up. All right, so be sure and share this with your friends and let them know about the conference. And I'd like to know if you're planning to come in July 20th, 21st, 22nd. If you're planning to come to Hebron, Kentucky to our A Flood is Coming conference, please give me a shout. Let me know that you're coming. Go on Facebook and let me know. We'd like to know. And I'd like to meet you. I'd like to shake your hand. I want to make sure that I get to see you at the conference. So, all righty. Well, it's been a joy being with you today in this brief little update about this upcoming conference coming up. I wanted you to know about it. And it's also a little test. This is a little test of our podcast. I'm actually recording 3 things at the same time here. I'm recording to Audacity over here on my computer. We're going to use that. If you're listening to the podcast, that's where it's coming from. I've got a microphone in front of me here, and I've got my YouTube camera that many of you are watching on right now. So, all righty. Well, it's been good to see you. Make sure you scroll down. You see there's several videos on the YouTube channel from the trip to Israel. Don't miss the video about the Temple Mount. We were there just a few weeks ago, right there where the 2 Israeli soldiers were just shot. Very sad, just on Friday. 2 Israeli soldiers were shot on the Temple Mount. A lot of turmoil there. We were just there. And I did a 12-minute live stream from the Temple Mount. It's just a few videos down. If you'll check those out on the YouTube channel, you can watch those and see a live view of what's up there and hear my commentary on what's coming in the near future for that spot. And all right, and some other videos there too. The Sea of Galilee, I think, is on there. The Feeding the 5,000 spot. There's a video. I think that's the 12-minute one. I think the Temple Mount's not 12 minutes. I forget what that is, but so be sure that you check those out. And there's a whole bunch. I think there's 40-some videos on YouTube. And now you guys on podcast. Podcast is brand new. This is in fact my first podcast that we're going to be posting. So keep an eye out. There'll be a lot more to come. So, all right. Appreciate you fellas out there and you folks out there and everybody that helps us. There's several of you that give us a donation from time to time. I tell you, we couldn't make it without you. This stuff is so expensive to keep going. And but we'll cut her off for there. I wanted to just tell you about the conference. One more time, the website for the conference, for the A Flood is Coming conference is www.afloodiscoming.org. Real simple, afloodiscoming.org. Go and check that out. They've got a beautiful website for it, and you can sign up right from the website. You can see the schedule. You can read all about it. You can see what's nearby, all that. And love to see you. So until then, we'll see you on the next program.